It's been 10 years. Did you just say 10 years? Yeah, 10 years. Did you just say 10 years? Yeah, 10 years. You know what this means? The social stigma is gone. You're no longer a hack. I can finally review Twilight.
There were some movies, terrible movies, movies so awful, no one would touch. Then came a Matthew, sad little Matthew. Matthew decided these movies to watch. For every good movie, there's at least 10 bad. Matthew gonna drag himself through the crap to find the worst ones there are to be had.
Today's episode, Twilight. Hello Internet, I'm called Matt, and I am so fucking happy to be talking to you about Twilight. If you're under like 15, you shouldn't be watching this channel. It's not child friendly. But you might not remember just how massive Twilight was and why it took me 10 years to take a look at it. So, let's talk about it. I want to start our story here. 1998, the release of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, a book that would come to revolutionize the young adult fantasy genre. This would inspire numerous other book series, some good and some bad. I'm not a huge fan of Harry Potter, but I understand what makes it work. Kids are just realizing how big the world really is, and it can be comforting to read a story about a kid also entering a big unknown world. The best of these novels capture that. The worst merely wrote a story about a kid in a magic world. But Harry Potter wasn't just a successful book series, it was also a massively successful film series, one of the most lucrative of all time. And everyone wanted a piece of that pie, so any young adult fantasy novel, regardless of quality, was doomed to be adapted to film. And none of them were good. But what about No, That One Sucks Too? Enter Twilight by Stephenie Meyer. This was a nearly unparalleled phenomenon. The only franchises with this much attention were Harry Potter and maybe Hunger Games, although long-term, I think Twilight stuck around a lot longer than Hunger Games did. I mean, just this year we got the third movie in a franchise based on a Twilight fanfic. It's been 10 years! Even longer since the release of the book in 2005. Why was Twilight so popular? There was certainly the goth girl appeal of dating a vampire, and they certainly drummed up attention with the Team Edward versus Team Jacob dynamic. But I think the real reason Twilight got so much attention was because people fucking hated it. There were lots of criticisms leveled against the book and later the movies. The dialogue is awful, the love story is weak, and Bella is a very passive character in her own story. Mary Sue, if you will. And sure, we'd point to these criticisms as if they were the reason we hated these films, but they weren't. We hated it because it was fucking gay! Yeah, these books were popular with teenage girls. And speaking as someone who was that age when these books were popular, there is nothing more gay to a teenage boy than a teenage girl. I don't think that adds up, but what do I know? I'm 23 now. So the more we pushed back, the more popular the books got. And they were eventually so popular a film was inevitable. In 2009, we got the first of 5 Twilight films starring Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. 2 actors who got a lot of shit for how bad they are in these movies, and yeah, they're awful. But they're actually really good in movies that aren't Twilight. Also, the film was directed by Catherine Hardwicke, the director of Lords of Dogtown. On paper, this shouldn't be awful. But oh god, was it ever. So let's take a look at Twilight.
I'd never given much thought to how I would die.
Mysterious circumstances, that's how I'm gonna go. Do I have to get that much into the plot? It's kinda ubiquitous at this point. If you don't know, Bella's mom and her boyfriend are going on the road, so she goes to live with her dad in Washington. These scenes with her father are some of the best for one reason. They're actually supposed to be awkward. And then we meet Bella's on-again, off-again love interest through the entire series, Jacob. Yet Jacob shows up in this movie where he's not even important before Edward. Good work. Side note, Bella's name is almost certainly a reference to Bela Lugosi, the original Dracula, which I think is kind of a clever reference. Meanwhile, the Native American guy here is Billy Black, like 2 letters off from Native American action hero Billy Jack. Was this intentional or a pure coincidence? Who knows? Also, Bela Lugosi infamously worked with Edward D. Wood? Huh? Okay, that one's probably a coincidence.
Nice ride.
Thanks.
And we're off to the races. Really, nice ride was a good one. Then we meet, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna forget his name, who comes on way too strong.
Anything you need? Tour guide, lunch date, shoulder to cry on?
Dude, she just showed up in this town. And the film continues introducing boys we know she's not gonna hook up with.
Oh, wait. No, that's don't. You're, Isabella, right?
Just Bella.
Yeah, hey, I'm Mike.
Think anyone was like Team Mike or Team Eric? I mean, they're less creepy than Edward and Jacob. Oh, and Anna Kendrick's here. I'd say Anna Kendrick's too good for this movie, but if time has told us anything, it's that everyone was too good for this movie. Except Taylor Lautner. He probably deserved this.
Then, you guys can give each other
Burrito, my friend.
Hey, Mikey, you met my homegirl Bella.
Oh, your homegirl.
Yeah.
My girl.
What the literal fuck? You don't know this girl. Am I wrong here? I'm male and I never moved schools. Girls, has this happened to you? Because this seems wildly implausible. And is that Susie Crabgrass from Ned's Declassified? I always wondered where she moved to. Then Bella catches sight of the Cullens, a bunch of foster kids from Alaska who are dating each other. That's because they're secretly vampires, but the characters don't know that yet. And of course, Dreamboat Edward Cullens.
That's Edward Cullen. He's totally gorgeous, obviously.
He's not that cute. I mean, he's like goth twink cute, not like every girl in school fawning over him cute. Oh, there's a lot of problems with this movie, and the story's not really one of them. Okay, we have to talk about the colors, because I think they were going for something, dark and moody, but it just looks like they didn't white balance right. Like, this isn't a moody or depressing movie, it's a love story. Second, what the fuck is this Western soundtrack over their moon-eyed glances? Is John Wayne about to ride in? This takes place in Washington. And the acting. My god, it's like they wanted to accurately portray how awkward high school students are, but totally overcompensated. This movie is excellent. Are you okay? You look like you're gonna be sick, bro. Bella, you gonna say something? Anyway, Bella catches him trying to switch out of that class. Didn't Bella say this was March? Bit late to switch classes. And why did Bella even come in this room? She walks right back out at the end.
Hey, Bella. Yeah, you remember me?
Ah, fuck, even the pedophiles want to crack at the new girl. You think I'm making a distasteful joke, but no, this scene heavily implies that he is indeed a pedophile.
She hasn't had a Christmas here since she was 4.
I bet I made an impression, though, didn't I?
You always do.
Butt crack, Santa?
Hey, kids love those little bottles, though.
Creepy. Also, Bella doesn't know how to use a cell phone. Like, arguably she has it on speaker, but why would you put it on speaker and almost hold it up to your ear? Then Edward stops showing up to school, and what the fuck is this? Did I put in a different movie? Okay, we're back to the awkward teen shit. Edward is back, and today he's really happy and chipper about it. You know what makes this movie so awkward? They can't decide what the tone is. The cinematography and performances tell me this is a moody, emotional look at teenage romance, The dialogue comes across as something intended to be lighthearted and quirky.
Pro-face.
Do you mind if I, look? It's pro-face.
Like I said.
Quirky is just endearingly awkward, but this fails to be endearing, so it's just awkward. Edward looks at Bella like she's trying to explain quantum physics to him, and Bella looks at Edward like he's got his dick inches away from her face and she is ready to go.
If you hate the cold and the rain so much, why'd you move to the wettest place in the continental US?
Because high schoolers don't really get a say in where they live?
Your eyes were black the last time I saw you, and like golden brown.
Yeah, I know. It's the fluorescence.
No, I don't even blame him for that one. I should just walk away next time I create an awkward situation. Which is often. Oh, and Edward saves Bella from a van crash, which means she has to go to the hospital? She didn't get hit. At all.
You can kiss your license goodbye.
What, 'cause he skidded on some ice? Fuck you. And then Dr. Cullens shows up.
I heard the chief's daughter was here.
Now that is all the girls in school fawning over you hot. Although, he looks like maybe 10 years older than his children. And yeah, they're adopted, but he is unreasonably young to have 17-year-olds. People have brought up the age difference between Edward and Bella as creepy, but Edward isn't that emotionally mature. He's not prepared to date adults, and if he bites Bella, eventually they'll be 400 and 500 years old, closer in age than anyone else. Edward isn't creepy for going after a 17-year-old. He's creepy because he breaks into her room and watches her sleep.
I wanted to ask you, if it's like a month away, but do you want to go to prom?
Bella has been in town 3 weeks max, and all she's done in that time is nearly get hit by a car. She hasn't shown any interest in you or done anything to make you interested in her. Meanwhile, Anna Kendrick is hanging on your arm. And try as this film might, they can't stop Anna Kendrick from having a personality. This movie treats the leads like they're the hottest people in the universe when they're not even the hottest people in the room. I'll give the Asian kid a pass on dating Bella. He kind of seems like he's in the closet, so the girl no one really knows is probably your best bet on that one. Fuck, 13-year-old me was right. This movie is gay. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
What's in Jacksonville?
How did you know about that?
You didn't answer my question.
That's 'cause you're a creepy fuck, dude.
Oh, you don't answer any of mine, so... I mean, you don't even say hi to me.
Hi.
See, that is a comedy line delivered with all the comedic energy of someone who finds Bella extremely annoying.
Oh. Bella, look. It's a worm. It's a worm.
A worm.
We shouldn't be friends.
I don't know. I think we should be enemies.
And then, just to prove how disconnected from the presentation the script is, Edward bangs the door to the bus to get it open like he's the Fonz or something. The script thinks Edward is this cool bad boy, and that's why he's so distant and alluring. But in the film, he's undeniably a goth teenager. And he has every right to be. He's a vampire, and he clearly hasn't come to terms with that. But this disagreement between the script and the presentation completely undercuts that idea, and it is honestly just really fucking hilarious.
It means if you were smart, you'd stay away from me.
Okay, well, let's say for argument's sake that I'm not smart.
Yeah, for the sake of argument.
I'd rather hear your theories.
I have considered radioactive spiders and kryptonite.
Wait, kryptonite makes him super strong and fast? Bella, that's the opposite of what kryptonite does. That's not even a simple misunderstanding. Everyone knows that.
So I keep thinking that Eric's gonna ask me to the prom, and then he just doesn't.
You should ask him. Take control. You're a strong, independent woman.
And they say Bella is a poor role model for empowering women.
You guys know him?
The Cullens don't come here.
What did your friends mean about, the Cullens don't come here?
You can't set up an ominous warning for a payoff 2 seconds later. That's poor pacing. And then Jacob gives Bella one of the most obvious "we're werewolves and they're vampires" stories ever, then just laughs it off as just a story.
What are they really?
It's just a story, Bella.
A story that directly mentions the Cullens for some reason. And then there's another out-of-place scene with these bad guy vampires. Oh, that's what this was, by the way. They don't really tie into the plot until the third act, but they also need to be established for story reasons, so every appearance by them feels really unnecessary, especially when the whole story is so closely linked to Bella. Like, these are the only scenes without her. It's the only time we, the audience, are in on something Bella isn't, purely for the sake of a third act villain. Anyway, Bella goes with Susie and Anna to buy prom dresses, but Bella wants to go to a bookstore and pick up a book of myths. A bunch of guys gang up on her, and Edward drives in to save her like he's... Speaking of someone who thinks they're goddamn Vin Diesel. And then a bunch of guys gang up on her, and Edward drives in to save her like he's goddamn Vin Diesel. Then they go out to dinner, and woo, buddy.
I feel very protective of you.
Edward reveals that he can read everyone's mind except Bella's.
And you... nothing.
Hey, maybe you shouldn't imply your main character doesn't have anything going on upstairs.
I don't have the strength to stay away from you anymore.
Okay. You're a vampire, so that necessitates some saying weird stuff. But you're on like another level of creepy and weird. Bella should absolutely stay away from you.
Your hand is so cold.
Mrs. Hardwick, don't you think that sounds a little awkward? Maybe we should try that take again. Bro, it's fucking Twilight. Who gives a shit? They pull up to the police station where Dr. Cullens has just examined the guy who got killed by the vampires earlier.
Waylon was your father's friend.
Ah, so that's why we should care about a character who died 20 minutes ago that I nearly forgot about. This isn't show don't tell. This is show, or at the very least tell sooner than this. Bella's dad offers her some pepper spray, and the girl who nearly got jumped and was only saved by her creepy stalker who isn't strong enough to stay away is reluctant to take it. Bella, I don't think any character has needed pepper spray more than you do right now.
Cold one.
Don't mind if I do.
And sometimes you speak like you're from a different time.
Sometimes? Bro, he always speaks like that.
How old are you?
17.
How long have you been 17?
A while.
Like 5 years a while, or like 50 years a while? It makes a difference. So Edward runs Bella to some sunlight, and yeah, it looks pretty goofy, as does his shiny diamond body. A lot of people had problems with the inconsistency with established vampire lore, but let's be real, every vampire movie establishes its own mythos about the vampire. It's not like Twilight is horribly out of line. It's not even the first one to pull the eating animals instead of humans angle. I credit that to Interview with a Vampire. In fact, it's kinda nice that I just went over Queen of the Damned, because story-wise, Twilight pulls a lot from Interview with a Vampire, but stylistically the film looks a lot more like Queen of the Damned. Maybe I'm just saying that because they were both trying and failing to capture Interview's style, but I could honestly be convinced they were inspired by Queen of the Damned. Boy, I'm all over the place with this one. It's almost like this movie is wrong in every conceivable aspect. Anyway, Edward goes off on like the edgiest rant ever.
I'm a killer.
I don't believe that.
It's because you believe the lie. It's camouflage. I'm the world's most dangerous predator.
I'm not sure if this movie is trying too hard or not hard enough. It's kind of both.
About 3 things I was absolutely positive.
Oh, we're bringing the narration back suddenly. Okay, thought we left that at the beginning of the movie. So I guess Edward and Bella are a thing now, and that turns everyone's heads. We learn Edward was dying of the Spanish influenza, and Dr. Cullen saves him, which he only does as a last resort. So you're telling me in the last 100 years or so, this doctor has only found 5 people worth saving from death? Or even just like 5 minors? Like there's never been a little kid he tried to save? Especially during the Spanish influenza, which killed 50 to 100 million people? Like, I get it, you can't save everyone, but you could save someone. Also, the vampires all have different powers. Edward can read minds, and his sister sees the future. Kinda like Interview with a Vampire. And here's even more dissonance. One scene, Edward is being all moody, like he might hurt Bella, and then in the next scene, they're acting like normal boyfriend and girlfriend. Man, Stoner Jacob is way cooler than Beefcake Jacob. Edward takes Bella to meet his family. They act weird, and he acts like this is totally out of nowhere and not exactly how he's been acting all movie.
What?
This isn't real. This kind of stuff just doesn't exist.
Does in my world.
What, a tall tree? You've been dating a vampire long enough that he's taken you to meet his family, but climb one tree and whoa, man, too wild. Gratuitous cameo. I wrote a joke here about Stan Lee. Not even a particularly funny one, but like, as of filming this, Stan Lee died like 5 hours ago. So we're gonna cut that one.
I ordered you the Spanish salad. I hope that's okay.
You should order one for yourself next time. Cut back on the steak.
Steak. 'Cause it kills vampires. And Charlie acts completely clueless that Edward and Bella are a thing, even though he took her to meet his family. Surely if you're taking your girlfriend to meet your family, her father should know. Oh, and Edward openly admits to sneaking in and watching Bella sleep. Bella, cut and run. It's not worth it. And after all that, I'm still Team Edward. They cuddle, which should probably be uncomfortable since he's so cold. Oh, and now Charlie does know about the Edward thing. And they're going on the most romantic date. Playing baseball. And it's okay if the equipment breaks, 'cause they can turn into bats. Ha 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 ha. Fuck me. And instead of turning her into a vampire, they turn Bella into an umpire. Sorry. And, this baseball scene. This is not hyperbole. This is a true story. A friend of mine was channel surfing, and he saw this baseball scene, and it's so ridiculous, he thought it was from the parody movie Vampires Suck.
Okay, now I see why you need the thunder.
You get it, audience? We don't think you're smart enough, so we spelled it out for you.
You're out.
What are you mad about? That wasn't even like a close call. She was obviously out.
James, come on, it's just a game.
And this fucking dude, bro, who I swear just showed up, makes it even better. Maybe he's been one of the Cullens this whole time, but they all have so little development outside of Edward and Daddy Cullen that maybe he's been here the whole movie and I just didn't notice. Have I mentioned this movie has a tone problem? Uh-oh, the bad vampires are here. And I gotta say, they are stylin'. I wish I could pull off any of those looks.
I'm afraid your hunting activities have caused something of a mess for us.
Our apologies. We didn't realize the territory had been claimed.
Yes, well, we maintain a permanent residence nearby.
Really? Well, we won't be a problem anymore. We were just passing through.
Ah, well, that's settled pretty. Oh, whoops, James, that's this one, catches a whiff of Bella and now he's hunting her. Nothing like setting up the climax in the last 30 minutes. It's like Evil Bong 2 all over again.
Could you put these on so the tracker will pick up from a set?
Why? What is she to me?
Rosalie. Bella's with Edward. She's part of this family now.
Yep, she's a part of the family. Never gonna break up with Edward. But, I mean, it was you guys who got her into this. The least you could do was help her. They make it out of town, but James has her mother. This is by far the least interesting part of the movie. It's not overly dramatic, but it's also something that feels like it comes out of nowhere. It fails to be funny or well done.
I gotta interrupt myself. There's a fucking jump cut in this movie. Like, this is frame 1, this is frame 2. They both have Bella on the left side of the screen, holding a phone with the lamp in the background. That's a jump cut. Don't do that in your movie. This is a $1 million production. They should know better.
Where should I meet you?
How about your old ballet studio?
No, how about the McDonald's up the street where there are witnesses and you get in trouble if you kill me? Bella arrives at the dance studio and hears her mom's voice.
Mom, there you are. What are you doing in here?
Everyone makes fun of me.
You're a wonderful dancer.
Fool you! And he brought a camcorder to record Bella's death. It'll still probably be funnier than Vampires Suck.
Beautiful. Very visually dynamic.
Praise this film will never receive. And then a superpower fight scene. This really is something the whole family can be underwhelmed by.
You're alone, because you're faster than the others. But not stronger. I'm strong enough to kill you.
Wait, isn't that a line from Batman v Superman? James bites Bella, but the Cullens show up just in time to save her. Edward is faced with the choice of letting her turn into a vampire or stay human, and he decides to stop the turn. Why are vampires so reluctant to turn people into vampires? I want that good immortality shit. Oh, but you don't know what it's like to be a monster. You're so alone. You know, maybe some of us aren't moody assholes. Maybe we can enjoy our gifts. Look, I'm on the fast track to dying in my 30s. I just want to live forever.
Edward, stop. Her blood is clean. You're killing her. Edward, stop.
But he doesn't stop in time and kills her. The end. So that's Twilight. It was worth the 10-year wait. It's so funny. Genuinely one of the best so bad it's good movies ever. And it was $1 billion blockbuster. This shit just doesn't happen. The dissonance between the script and the actual movie is beyond laughable. The performances are terrible, Edward is creepy, Bella is clueless, plot points come in and out at random. I didn't watch this till my senior year of high school, and I'm kinda sad about that. If I were the person I am now back then, I'd be at every premiere screaming right along with all the tween girls. Because I love Twilight. And until next time, I'm Matt, and this is Matt's Fun Time Bad Movie Show.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. This is the skin of a killer, Bill.
Hey, why are you in the closet? Well, I still kinda live off my parents' money, and I want to run them for every penny they're worth while I still can, and I'm a little worried that inflow would stop if I came out. I guess you could say I'm bisexual? Like with a U? 'Cause I want them to buy me things. No, I mean, why are you physically located inside the closet? I don't know, why is there a Twilight DVD in your bed? No more questions.